Hey everybody, welcome to a Craftsmas Cricut craft. That was a lot of C's. Before we get started, if you're into crafting, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time, so hit the bell icon. That'll let you know when I post a new video. Today we're going to learn how to make this very cute, easy Santa's Magic Key Bag. These make wonderful gifts for your kids, neighbors, grandkids, everybody you can think of, especially those kids who don't have a chimney. I grew up without one, and my mom always told me Santa has a key that opens any door to any house so that he can get in if there's no chimney. Now, the bags are from Amazon, as is the key. Links are down below. We're going to measure our bag and make sure that we know the right size before we get started. I just use a simple ruler, and again, this is bag we already did, but we'll show you. So we're just going to use the blank side. So all we do is we just hold up our ruler to it. Now you don't want to cover where this part is. It's not going to press correctly, and this may also melt in the heat press. So what you want to do is make sure that you take this and measure it, and it's about 4 inches and by about, say, 2 3/4 inches. Let's get over to Design Space so I can show you guys how we're going to make our beautiful Santa's Magic Key Bag. To make our little decal for our Santa's Magic Bag, we know how big we have because we measured. So let's make our square. Again, I always unlock my square. I do this so that I have a template, and I do this for every project that I do. So we know it's about 3 1/4 wide and 4 inches tall. So it's not a really big little piece, but it's perfect for this type of a project. So this just gives us our template to help us figure out what spacing we want to use. Now we do know that we want it to say Santa's Magic Key. So let's start there. So we'll do Santa's, and it should have an apostrophe because this belongs to Santa. And I want to do different fonts for Santa's and Magic, but I want Key to be the same font as Santa. So what I do is I'll take Santa's in one line, and I do Key in the next line just by hitting Enter. I'm going to move these up a little bit so you guys can see. And we're going to pick our font. I'm going to use a system font, which is a font that's already in my system, well, in my computer. So one I've downloaded. Now I'm going to show you, you got a lot of options. I don't love this font. It was just the first one I saw, so I just kind of went with it. But I'm going to use a script font for the word magic. So I want to do something kind of plain and simple for this. And actually, maybe let's change that. Let's actually maybe do magic in a more simple font. So let's look up. There's a font that I'm in love with called Christmas Time, and I think it's adorable, and I hate this actually. I don't like it for this one. The S is kind of weird, so let's do something different. A lot of times with this, it's just playing around with the fonts, seeing what you like, seeing what works for the design that you're going for. And once you do this for a while, you'll learn the names of some of your fonts, and you'll kind of get an idea for what you want and what's going to look really nice for the look that you're going for. And sometimes as you design, you'll see that maybe what you thought you wanted to do isn't what you want to do. Like, I'm kind of not loving this idea, and so we're going to go back to doing a more plain font for this. So we're just going to find something a little bit fun, more maybe child-oriented, something like this. I think this is perfect. So let's stick this over here for now, and we're going to open another text box, and we're going to put the word magic. Now I do these in 2 separate text boxes because then I can do the 2 separate fonts. So let's do something with this one that, again, maybe is a little more scripty and fun. This is super cute. I'm not sure how awful this will be to weed, but we might give it a try because I think it's really, really fun. So let's go ahead over to here, and we're going to take out, we're going to do the Santa's key part. What we need to do is ungroup the letters. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Don't ungroup the letters. I messed that up. But the nice thing is there's an undo button. So again, not everyone's perfect. I forget sometimes. We want to ungroup to lines, not to letters. What that does is it removes the key and the Santa into 2 different things so that I can move them around on my mat versus trying to space them out. And then we can do, you know, put them wherever we want to versus trying to figure out where we want to fit them. Now I do want to make sure I leave a little bit of space at the top because I don't want to fill it in too much. And I also don't want the words to be teeny tiny. I want them to fill a pretty decent space. We definitely want magic a little bit bigger. Like I said, this could be an absolute nightmare to weed, but that's okay. We're definitely going to do this guy in red, so I'm going to change the color right now so that I can get a good look at what I'm working with. And I want to do these guys in green because I think that would look really pretty, and I'm just going to pick a random green. Maybe we'll do emerald green. It might look better. Whoops, and I picked the wrong thing. Let's change that back. Let's see if emerald green might be a better. Yeah, that's a much better look. Sometimes it's just a matter of kind of looking at the color just so you can see what it looks like. Because our back of our little sack here is actually kind of a creamy white. It's a little off-white. You guys saw that. So let's just change it so it's a creamy white, and it's a little bit easier to see. So I think that looks pretty good. I think that's really cute. But I think it needs something over here. It's kind of boring. It needs just something a little more fun. Let's go to images, and let's see if maybe we can find a key. And sometimes you'll notice, see, I get this. I do see a lot of people complain like they have problems sometimes with Design Space. It's not always Design Space, guys. Sometimes it is your computer. So just keep that in mind. Now, again, I have access, and certain things are going to cost me money, but I'm just going to find one that doesn't. And a simple way to do that is to go over here to Filter, and then right here where it says the Cricut Access, just click that. And what that does is it only gives you images that will be free for your Cricut Access. So all you have to do is just scroll and find one that you like. I'm going to do something kind of simple, a more simple key. I think this one is really nice, so let's insert that one. I think that's kind of the look I'm going for, because I don't want anything too crazy because it's going to be kind of big. So we're going to move this to the front so that I can see what this will look like. Now remember, our design over here on our little bag, our bag is kind of creamy, but we could use white. But let's see what other colors we might have. We could probably use a silver, and we're going to do a little bit of layering on this just for fun and because we can. So let's do something like this. I think this looks pretty cute, and I think it will work. Now, I'm not going to attach the greens because we can just lay them out on the mat or on our piece so that they fit versus having to waste all this HTV here in the center. We no longer need our little template, so just go ahead and get rid of the square. We don't need it, and we're going to click Make It. Now you see we have our key, we have the key and Santa's, and then we have our little word magic. Make sure that you mirror everything on your project. So before I do anything else, I go through and I click mirror. That makes it so that it's going to cut the correct way since we have to cut shiny side down, which means that we're actually cutting the back of your vinyl versus when you do an adhesive vinyl, which cuts the front. So we're going to click continue just so I can show you really quick how we set our material. And usually with the maker, it's going to be on your first front page because it's some of the most popular items. So right here, we're going to select iron on because we're just going to use a simple, nothing too crazy iron on. I will tell you, it does remind you right here, make sure mirror is on. Always, always, always mirror your project. Let's get over to the machine. I'm going to show you how to load it, and then we're going to make sure that we cut these in the right order. I actually decided to cut the key in gold because I found some gold that I have. Now, this is some cheap HTV from Amazon. It's really hard to tell which side you should cut on. So I'm going to show you guys just a quick little idea to how to tell where you want to cut. So I have this little tiny corner over here, and I'm just going to poke at it a little bit. And that way I can see which side is my carrier sheet and which side is the vinyl. And since it's never going to cut on this tiny little upper corner, hang on, my mat keeps trying to fall off. It's never going to cut on this tiny little corner, so it won't matter that we peeled it a little bit, and hopefully you guys can see. But you can see there's the clear shiny side, and then this side is your vinyl. So if you ever have a question as to which side you should cut on, there is just a quick little trick to figure it out. So what we're going to do is lay our vinyl down, and actually let me peel this one little thing off here. We're just going to lay our vinyl down. Again, make sure you're laying it shiny side down. So it would be the carrier sheet down. And this is for HTV unless it's printed. And we'll do a printed tutorial soon. We're going to load our mat. Again, remember we have it set to iron on, so it's ready to go. Oops, and then I bumped you. Sorry about that. And we're just going to hit the go button. This just takes the regular blade, nothing fancy. And this is going to cut out our key, so it's going to be a pretty quick, easy cut. And while it's doing that, I'll show you the other colors that I'm going to use. I'm going to actually use this little scrap of Caesar Electric that I found. I used this on another project and I have this little scrap left. So let's use this for our magic. It's really pretty. Once it is pressed, it looks gorgeous. And then I'm just going to use like a foresty green color for the Santa and the key part. So let's go ahead and peel this off, or take this off real quick of our mat. And I'll cut everything else off camera, but I want to show you guys real fast here how easy it is to not be able to see on your HTV where it's cut on the back. But if you look on the front, so easy to see. So if you're going to trim your HTV, trim it looking at the front and not at the back. So let's get the rest of this cut out, and then we can get ready to weed it and apply it. Here's our heat press. It is ready. It's set to 325. Now I will say that the electric usually wants 310. We're gonna chance it at 325 on this. So we are going to just put a couple different pieces on first before anything else. I do this in a couple different ways. Now, the one thing I will say, make sure you don't get these little ties, these parts, in your heat press. It will melt them. So I just line up where I'm putting these two things. Now, I can tell you Santa's is definitely not lined up. And I have a kitten trying to climb me, so I apologize if I'm moving around. We adopted a new kitten. She's very cute, but she's very persistent. So what we're going to do is take our other two little pieces and put those to the side. And I'm going to put my little sack, so to speak, on the heat press. But I'm just going to make sure that these little ties are not in there. And these are Teflon sheets. They should come with your heat press. If your heat press for whatever reason doesn't come with them, you can order them on Amazon. And they're pretty inexpensive. And you'll always want to have these when you're doing these types of projects. So all I do is just slide it in. And again, apologizing right now because my kitten is at my feet and I know what she's going to do. She just loves us. I'll bring her up and put her on camera here for you guys in just a second so you can see her. She's awful cute. So what we're going to do is we swing our heat press in. And I still haven't figured out how to use my timer. So if any of you have this one, I have no idea what brand it is. But if any of you have this one and know how to time it, please, by all means, let me know. So I'll usually just count. And this is, like I said, this is an off-brand. It came with 0 directions. So I'm just guessing about how long it's going to take. So I usually count, so we're probably at about 6. Now I will say I can tell already that one of these parts isn't going to press because it was not under the press at all. So let's, and this doesn't have quite enough pressure, so if you need to add pressure, just on this one you're going to swirl the back of it. But we're going to add some pressure because I could tell A, that it wasn't enough pressure, and B, that the one part wasn't going to press at all to begin with. So now we just wait a few. Like I said, I always just count in my head. And you can always pop it open and check it and just see. And a lot of times mine will stick, my Teflon sheet sticks to the top. So what you can do is just pull it out and take a look and see if it's stuck. Now I can tell you right now this didn't stick. The key might have, but the word did not. So let's take a look at the key. Now the key stuck fine. Go figure, right? Sometimes it's just a case of with the different types of vinyl that you just need a little bit different pressure. You need different, just a lot of different things. So we'll stick it right back in. It's okay to do that. Don't worry about it. No big deal. Again, make sure it is between the Teflon sheets. We'll just slide it back in. We're just going to make sure that it's getting the whole thing. And again, we count. So again, I'm just counting in my head. So that went about 20 or so seconds. Now again, I don't have directions for this because it's off-brand from Amazon. So I'm going to try cold peeling on this one and see if maybe cold peel is going to work better than the warm peel might have. Because this isn't a shirt, I'm not real worried about screwing it up, honest to God. If it's not perfect, it's fine. It's just a little burlappy sack I got from Amazon. Link is below for these. I love these. These are great for craft shows. So when people buy little things from you, they're fantastic. But again, being that this is an off-brand, it's stiffer. It does peel a little bit more difficult off of your sheet because these sheets are extra sticky. Do not like this stuff. It was extra super cheap. I got it last Christmas just to play around with. And I'm glad I got it because it was fun to play with, but it is really annoying. So now we're going to take our magic and just line it up. And we want to make sure that's fairly straight. And this one, like I said, not as sticky. So you just want to make sure that you press it down well so it won't slide around on you. Alright, so then we're just going to stick this back under. Again, make sure that it is under your Teflon sheet. Make sure the whole thing gets under there, the whole design, and we're just going to go ahead and press it. Now, being that this is the electric, it takes a little bit less pressure, a little less time, a little less heat, but on the burlap, it's going to take probably a little bit more. So we're just going to let it go for a little longer. Again, if it scorches a little bit, not super worried about it because it's a burlap sack. On a t-shirt, you want to make sure you're following all the directions really, really well. You're not messing around with it too much. And you're just making sure that everything is, you know, the way they say to do it. Pressure-wise, heat-wise, all of that. But again, being a burlap, I'm not real worried about it. This is a cool peel, so to cool it, again, I just tap it, tap it, tap it. I do open the sack a little bit to let some air flow through the back of it. And you can shake it around a little just to cool it down because you don't want to rip up the metallic. It's real pretty when it's done, but, ooh, is it hot? Ooh, warm. It does get pretty warm, so we're just going to get some of that cool air going, and now we can peel. Now on this one you will see the fibers of your fabric through it because of the roughness of the burlap. This is our finished bag, and we'll get our key, and I'll show you guys the whole thing in just a second. And here is our finished project. This makes such a great gift for a niece, a nephew, your children, your neighbors' kids. It's wonderfully easy, super fun, great for HTV scraps, and super quick. So it's a really nice gift. You can get the keys, a big pack of them on Amazon. Link is below. The little bags, also from Amazon. Link is also below. Before we finish up, just make sure you subscribe to my channel because I put out new videos all the time. I hope you guys had a really fun time today with Craftsmas. I am loving making all these super fun, really easy crafts with you guys. If you have any questions, make sure you put those in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you, and if I don't know the answer, I will find it. If you're looking for any specific tutorials, put those in the comments below as well. I make these tutorials because you guys ask for them. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy crafting.